It is Wednesday, August 3rd, and welcome back into another TDN Daily video. I'm your host, Carmen Vitale, Senior NFL Reporter for the Draft Network. And listen, the NFL is better than any reality show. It's its own type of reality show because you cannot script the things that happen in this league on a daily basis. On Tuesday, it was reported that the Miami Dolphins are now having to forfeit 2 draft picks, a first-round pick in 2023 and a second or third-round pick in 2024, for tampering with Tom Brady and Sean Payton. That's a real thing that happened. Owner Stephen Ross was also suspended, and he was fined, I believe, $1.5 million, but let's be honest, that's probably peanuts to a billionaire. The NFL, this all stemmed from an investigation into the Miami Dolphins brought about by former head coach Brian Flores, who alleged these things, the tampering with Tom Brady, on 2 separate occasions, by the way, and Sean Payton, among other probably more serious things, if I'm being honest. Now, Commissioner Roger Goodell, called these violations of unprecedented scope and severity. He said there's no prior instance of a team violating the prohibition on tampering with both a head coach and a star player to the potential detriment of multiple other clubs over a period of years before. And yet the Dolphins only lost 2 draft picks out of this, and their owner got suspended. But what does that even mean? He can't participate in league meetings until 2023. He's suspended from representing the club till October something. But what was more serious about the accusations that Brian Flores brought about was the discrimination of Black head coaches and coordinators in positions of power in that and in the front office, and that Stephen Ross allegedly told Brian Flores he would pay him to lose games at the end of the season in order to get a better draft spot, which that is the bigger threat to the integrity of the game at this point. But the NFL, weirdly enough, said that they couldn't find evidence of that because, the Dolphins were competitive down the stretch the year in that year. Well, it's because Brian Flores refused to give in to the requests of Stephen Ross. It's not because Stephen Ross didn't try. And it's funny because, as NFL Network's Judy Batista brought up, the NFL isn't denying that Stephen Ross said these things. There were differing recollections of the wording, time, and context. So basically they're saying that Stephen Ross was joking when he told Brian Flores to throw games and to lose games. Now that in and of itself is the most egregious thing that I've heard in the realm of tampering. And that definitely warrants Roger Goodell's response of this being completely unprecedented. Listen, the tampering with Tom Brady and Sean Payton, while it's Tom Brady and Sean Payton, so they're very high profile people, tampering happens all the time. This is it's usually done in back rooms, private rooms, in Indianapolis, during the combine. This stuff happens all the time. So I'm not quite worried about the precedent that this slap on the wrist is setting when it comes to tampering in that regard. Because listen, this stuff is already happening. There is no precedent that needs to be set. These guys know that they can usually get away with it. What I am concerned about is the fact that they are completely letting Stephen Ross off the hook for encouraging and throwing a monetary amount, essentially bribing his head coach, trying to bribe his head coach with losing games. And I know that that's a sentiment that fans have all the time. I wish we would lose these games so we do get a higher draft pick. We're not going anywhere in the playoffs, yada, yada, yada. But that's not the point of this league, and that is a direct threat to the integrity of this league. On top of that, you have Brian Flores' accusations of discrimination, which, for proof of that, all you need to do is look around the league. You have the proportion of Black head coaches to white head coaches in a league that is 70% Black players is shameful, especially when you consider that any of the Black coaches, even if they are assistants, most of them are on the defensive side of the ball. You have pigeonholed minorities in positions of power in this league into one realm of the game. There are only 2 Black offensive coordinators in the league. That's Byron Leftwich down in Tampa, and it's Eric Bieniemy in Kansas City. That is, again, something that needs to be addressed more, because I don't need an independent arbitrator to tell me that there is discrimination across this league in the coaching realm especially, and the front offices. mean, there are only a couple black GMs too at this point. That needs to be addressed as well. That is a main point of Brian Flores' lawsuit against the NFL and the Miami Dolphins for wrongful termination. He went through, I mean, he won his last 7 games with a underwhelming team in Miami and was still let go in favor of Mike McDaniel. Now, what we're thinking could have been Sean Payton had this lawsuit not come out. Brian Flores and his attorneys issued a statement, and they said that while they were appreciative of Brian Flores' factual statements being proven by the NFL regarding the tampering with Tom Brady and Sean Payton, they are disappointed and disheartened that the rest of his allegations, especially when it comes to the pressure to throw games coming directly from the owner, were not found to be substantiated. And they said that they will continue to try and prove that Brian Flores is, again, factual statements. That's what the term they kept using, that his factual statements will be proven. It is just, again, this league is a better reality show than anything you're going to find on Bravo at this point. And I want to know if you think that the punishment fit the crime. For another edition of TDN Daily, I'm Carmen Vitale, Senior NFL Reporter for the Draft Network. I will see you tomorrow.